What is up, you guys? Nick here. Welcome to the show if you're new. Thanks for coming back if you're not. Today's episode is focused on a fascinating market, so buckle up. Many who have previously missed huge booms in the markets, such as the tech surge in the 1990s and the cryptocurrency valuation surges in 2017 and 2020, have been relentlessly striving to locate the next industry that is potentially poised to surge. Now, if you have watched my channel previously, you will be privy to the fact that I am predominantly focused on the electric vehicle industry and precious metals, two industries that are uniquely correlated to one another and two industries that I am personally very bullish on. Stick with me through this video. I promise you will come out on the other side a more savvy investor with more knowledge up your sleeve. Remember, we as investors are attempting to find these well-positioned companies and stocks well situated for the future landscape prior to their actual surges, to thus achieve the most profit, the best bang for your buck, one could say. If you have watched my channel before, you will know I focus my investment strategy surrounding innovative disruption. There is, in my point of view, no other industry more perfectly positioned for the future landscape than electric vehicles, clean energy means, and the precious metals used to build component parts. In this video, I will be first giving a brief history lesson on the metal industry. I will then be discussing why precious metals are a key focus to my investment strategy, and then linking these two aspects to highlighting a fascinating mining company with operations within the precious metal industry. We have a lot to get to in today's video. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's get right into it. Now, I want to first discuss a very important concept here that I think is missed by a lot of investors. This is important. Hear me out. If you have been paying attention to what has occurred across the globe for the past 12 months, if you don't live under a rock, you will be very aware that government bodies have been placed under immense pressure in terms of spending, national unemployment rates, and increasing debt. To combat this immense debt, the lack of spending, and disturbing unemployment rates, government officials have been printing trillions of dollars and sending this money out in the form of stimulus packages. More than $3 trillion has been printed and added into the market in the United States alone. 3 trillion. If we take a quick look at this chart, we can see just how much money has been printed in the US in the past few decades, and we can see how this has skyrocketed in the past year alone. This is something I have touched on in previous videos. Now, with the vast and abrupt quantity of money being printed comes inflation. Using a demand for supply correlation, with increased supply comes decreased demand. The value of pre-existing dollars on the market are decreased when there is more dollars on the market. This is what is currently occurring across the globe. The buying power of $1 over time has been drastically decreasing over time as the Federal Reserve continues to print more money. Because of this fear of inflation, investors and analysts alike are being scared away from their pre-existing low-interest cash reserves into alternative investment vehicles such as stocks, precious metals, and commodities. Now, we can see this intense rally over the same period as this pouring of cash into the market by government bodies. Now, with the economic uncertainty such as we are experiencing currently across the globe, this currently comes with a vast quantity of investors moving money out of low-interest cash reserves and into tried and true precious metals in attempts to retain value and shore up their portfolios. This is having a direct effect on the price of gold and other precious metals. If we take a look at the price of gold over the past few years, we can see that the Fed has printed more money, distributed more dollars onto the market, and with the surmounting worldwide economic uncertainty, we can see the price of gold is absolutely surging, sitting at around $1,800 an ounce. We also saw a gold rally during the financial crisis of 2008, and interestingly, gold continued to rally for about the next 4 years after the crisis, and some analysts are predicting a similar outcome will occur with the economic uncertainty currently underway. Now, along with gold, many are expecting silver to feel similar valuation surges, as some believe that silver is currently undervalued. Silver and gold actually very similarly follow one another and are typically under heightened periods of volatility, under equity crashes, and periods of inflation. Now, silver's valuation in relation to gold has actually surpassed it in terms of percentage increases many times throughout history, with higher levels of volatility and faster price movements in relation to gold. Now, I do know that was a lot of information to take in all at once, but it's important to have this background knowledge prior to actually moving forward. Remember, when investing in any company, it's imperative to always do your own research and formulate your own opinions, and to become savvy and aware of the ins and outs of a specific industry, sector, and company prior to actually allocating allocating capital to it. The investor legend Warren Buffett famously only invests in industries and companies he himself understands, and I think this is one of the most important lessons a young investor can take moving forward. So now, having all of that background information in our arsenal, we as long-term investors can now proceed. The company I want to focus in on today's episode is a fascinating company based out of Canada by the name Callinex Mines Incorporated. This company focuses on exploring Canada's most prolific base and precious metals districts. They are advancing their portfolio of zinc-rich deposits located in the Bathurst Mining District and Flin Flon Mining District, where nearby operations are actively mining for zinc, copper, gold, and silver. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you will know just how bullish I am on precious metals and their usage in the future landscape in industrialized forms. Remember that some analysts are predicting silver to run up in price faster than in relation to gold valuations, which could represent an ideal period for silver in the coming months, quarters, and years ahead. Silver is still lagging behind gold in terms of relative gains, which could present a window of opportunity for the silver industry at large. There is a rapidly growing use for silver in the form of industrialized use worldwide. I am extremely bullish on electric vehicles and all of their component parts. We know electric vehicles are poised to surpass conventional gas and diesel vehicles as the predominantly sold vehicle type sometime likely in the 2030s. All of these new electric vehicles being sold comes the increased demand for the component parts of EVs. Now, what is one thing all electric vehicles have in common? Well, they utilize some form of battery system, and silver and precious metals are major components of electric vehicle batteries. Investors and analysts are aware of this correlation and have been purchasing stocks of companies that are currently positioned in the mining industry. With a democratic government and national subsidy programs for clean and green energy, silver and precious metals are also expected to receive vast use through increased implementation of solar panels. Silver has the highest conductivity for heat and electricity, which makes it a very important element for solar panels, batteries, and LED chips. I have talked about precious metals and their use countless times on this channel, as I really do think these will be perfectly positioned for the future landscape and a very forward-thinking investment. The global demand for silver has compounded 20% per year over the past decade alone. This really is an incredible surge in the industrial usage and its demand. Now, diving deeper into Callinex as a company, who are they, what do they do, and why do investors think they will continue to grow? Well, as I previously stated, Callinex is a mining company in Canada who are actively drilling in support of an updated resource estimate and maiden preliminary economic assessment. They have been credited with the discovery of numerous mines across North America that were rich in zinc, copper, gold, and silver. They were founded all the way back in 1927, closing in on their 100-year benchmark with a ton of history behind them. Callinex trades on the CVE under ticker symbol CNX. They are a penny stock currently hovering around $2. Now, they are indeed an extremely volatile company. However, in the past year alone, we can see the growing investor interest and the growing share movements. Now, remember, as I was stating, that precious metals typically increase in valuation in relation to economic crises. Well, take a look at their chart over the past year. They have surged over 500% since just March this year, and for a number of different reasons. Remember that the EV industry at large has been undergoing an incredible surge in interest and valuations alike over the same time period. We can see companies like Tesla who have exploded in terms of share prices, and many companies who focus on precious metals have also experienced similar increases in valuation. This is because all of these EVs need metals in order to build their batteries and component parts. Callinex is a junior mining company, and this is an important point. A junior mining company is akin to a small cap emerging growth company, and we can see that in Callinex's micro cap of around the mid $20 million range. Now, I have focused on penny stocks quite frequently on this channel before, and as always, make sure you are aware of the risks before allocating assets. These stocks do typically come with more potential reward, but because of this increased volatility, they also come with more risk, so please be aware of that, gang. Junior mining companies are striving in the hopes to strike a deposit, which then typically injects valuation into their shares. A junior mining company will either fail to find deposits, find enough resources to then be bought out by a major mining company, which allows for decent returns for investors, or finally, hit large deposits, striking it big, allowing for massive returns. This is obviously the desired outcome for junior mining companies. Let's focus in on the mining projects that Callinex is currently working on, as this is where the investor focus is. will be primarily focusing on their two main projects, the Bathurst Mining District in New Brunswick and the Flin Flon Mining District in Manitoba. Beginning with the Bathurst Mining District, this is led by the flagship Nash Creek project that hosts a large near-surface zinc-lead-silver deposit. It is one of the largest volcanic-hosted sulfide belts in the world, with more than 130 million tons of ore produced since 1950, commonly zinc, lead, and silver deposits. Callinex actually owns one of the largest unmined deposits within the district. Their mining infrastructure has great access to power, waterfront, roads, and processing facilities. Nash Creek is an open-pit mine plan with an average annual production of 77 million pounds of zinc, 15 million pounds of lead, and 437,000 ounces of silver over a 10-year mine life. It has an inferred resource containing 407 million pounds of zinc. Inferred mineral resources means that the quantity, grade, and mineral content was estimated through geological tech and therefore is only assumed. Zinc currently has a market value of around $2,600 per ounce at time of filming. They have an indicated mineral resource totaling 13.6 million tons containing 963 million pounds of ZnEq with a total pre-production capital cost of $168 million. Moving to their other major district, the Flin Flon district in Manitoba, which has over 30 deposits that have been mined, which are mostly high-grade copper and zinc-rich deposits. Over 50% of deposits have been advanced to production totaling 32 mints, which has led to 86 consecutive years of mining. Over $1.6 billion has been invested to the infrastructure, and there is typically less than 6 years from discovery to development with reduced capital expenditures. Callinex has acquired 100% interest since 2015 on this project, with several untested target areas, including 2 high priority targets. They have an absolutely massive 52-week range with a low of 32 cents per share and a high of $4.15. This is a massive delta, which contributes to their high beta value of 263. Their average trading volume has been rapidly increasing the past few months and is hovering around 23,000. They have a reasonable price to book value of 110, have a small current cash position of 486,000, have a nice current ratio of 1.86, indicating more assets relative to liabilities. They have a small float of 10.01 million shares, so when good news is announced, share prices will typically increase in value. However, the same should be noted of the opposite, as is typically true of any penny stock. Now, what is very important to note is that the company has not generated revenue as of yet. This is usually the case with a junior mining company. It's not out of the ordinary, however, it is an important note. Their cost of revenue over the trailing 12 months is sitting at only $54,000, and their operating expenses are hovering around $1 million. Now, their net income does still remain in the negatives, having lost $3.2 million in 2018. However, they largely cut this in 2019, only losing $1.9 million, and in the trailing 12 months have lost $1.12 million. They have a very tight capital structure with no debt and are fully funded to execute near-term exploration endeavors. All of their projects are located in established Canadian mining districts, and they are exposed to rising metal prices with deposits containing sizable zinc, gold, and silver resources. Their total assets are sitting at $21 million, with total liabilities sitting at only $183,000. If and when Callinex begins digging up these resources, their assets are poised to potentially exponentially increase. This would obviously result in a surging share price. This is why many investors are interested in being positioned in this fascinating industry prior to actually striking a mineral deposit. All in all, Callinex is a very interesting company in my point of view. I do like being positioned in the precious metal space, as with their inherent value and their industrial usages poised to increase in the coming years, it is a very enticing space. Remember to always be aware of the risks a penny stock comes with. There is more potential reward, however, there is more potential risks. Gain as much information as you can about any company. Don't just take my word for it because I'm saying it on the internet. That would not be a smart investment decision. Anyways, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this gained insight into the market and the precious metal space. I do think this is a very fascinating space, and I think it is positioned perfectly for the coming landscape. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Happy trading. Cheers.